Welcome to the Sleepy BrainDose. Here, you are invited to slow down, to breathe gently, and to let curiosity rest alongside calmness. Tonight, we will explore the science of dreams and sleep, not with urgency, but with softness as a quiet companion for your mind. Allow the words to flow like a steady breath, guiding you into comfort, into calm, and into rest. Sleep is one of the most familiar experiences of life, and yet it remains one of the most mysterious. Each night, without effort, we drift away from waking awareness into a state where our thoughts dissolve. Our muscles release their tension, and the world around us seems to fade into the background. In this place of quietness, the body and the mind enter a rhythm that has been part of living beings for millions of years. You might notice that the word sleep itself feels soft, like a slow exhale, reminding us that this state is not an interruption of life, but rather a continuation of it in a different form. When we ask the question, what is sleep? We are not only asking about brain waves or chemical signals. We are asking about a state of being that gently holds us every night, whether we resist it or welcome it. Sleep can be thought of as a bridge, carrying us from one day to the next, like the gentle arch of breath, carrying air in and out of the lungs. Just as the breath has an inhale and an exhale, life itself has moments of activity and moments of stillness. Sleep is that stillness, woven into the pattern of living. Scientists describe sleep as a naturally recurring state in which consciousness becomes quiet, muscles relax, and sensitivity to the outside world is reduced. Yet this definition, while accurate, only captures a small part of what sleep means. For the person experiencing it, sleep feels less like a scientific category and more like a descent into safety. In the soft darkness of night, we allow ourselves to surrender. It is in this surrender that healing begins. The rhythm of sleep is older than humanity itself. Even the simplest organisms, such as tiny jellyfish, display periods of rest that resemble the sleep of more complex animals. This suggests that sleep is not a luxury, not even a choice, but an essential part of being alive. It is a rhythm written into the very fabric of biology. Just as every heart beats with a pulse, and every tide rises and falls, so too does every life form carry within it a cycle of rest. To understand sleep, then, is to understand life in its quietest expression. You might notice how, as night approaches, your body seems to know it is time to wind down. The eyes grow heavier, the muscles loosen, and thoughts become slower, less sharp, more dreamlike. These are gentle signs of a body following its inner rhythm. This rhythm does not need to be forced. It unfolds naturally, like the way shadows lengthen when the sun begins to set. In these moments, you can sense that sleep is not separate from waking life, but rather a continuation of it, an essential partner to the hours we spend awake. Sleep could be imagined as a nightly return to balance. During the day, we gather impressions, experiences, and stresses. We are active, alert, and often stretched thin by responsibilities. But when sleep comes, all of this begins to soften. The mind files away the experiences of the day, and the body repairs the small wear and tear of living. Sleep is the balancing act, the counterweight that keeps us from tipping too far into exhaustion. Across cultures, people have often described sleep as a kind of gentle death and rebirth, but without the fear or finality. The day ends, and with it, the self of today fades. In the morning, we awake renewed, carrying forward the essential parts of who we are, but leaving behind the fatigue of yesterday. In this sense, sleep is a quiet teacher. It shows us that letting go can be safe, that pausing is not the same as losing, and that rest is a necessary rhythm for continuing. From a biological perspective, Sleep involves complex changes in the brain and body. The temperature of the body dips slightly. The heartbeat slows, and the breath becomes more regular, more steady. The brain itself does not shut off, as it might seem from the outside. Instead, it enters a dance of activity, alternating between phases of deep, slow waves and bursts of vivid dreaming. Even in its quietest states, the brain is working to maintain, to restore, to prepare. But for the one who sleeps, all of this complexity is felt only as peace. It is remarkable to realize that we spend about a third of our lives in this state. That means if you live to 75 years, nearly 25 of those years will have been spent sleeping. This might sound like lost time, but in truth, it is time in which your body was silently protecting you, healing you, and weaving together the threads of your life. Sleep is not wasted time. It is the hidden foundation on which waking life rests. Without it, the hours of activity would crumble. Sleep also has a gentle social rhythm. Communities and cultures have long recognized the cycle of rest as a shared pattern. In ancient villages, the dimming of firelight signaled the time to close one's eyes. In modern times, even with electric lights and endless distractions, our bodies still remember the natural rhythm. You may notice that when you spend time outdoors, away from screens and artificial light, your sleep feels deeper, more refreshing. This is your biology, aligning with the same rhythm that has guided life for countless generations. Another way to think about sleep is as a guardian of inner balance. When we are deprived of it, emotions can become sharp, decisions clouded, and even the simplest tasks feel heavy. Yet after a night of restful sleep, the very same challenges appear lighter, more manageable. This shift reminds us that sleep is not just a physical necessity, but a profound support for the mind and the emotions. It protects us quietly, without needing thanks or recognition. The mystery of dreams also belongs to this understanding of what sleep is. Although dreams will be explored in depth later, it is important to know that they are not an accidental byproduct. They are a natural part of the sleeping state, a way in which the brain continues its activity even while the body lies still. Dreams remind us that sleep is not absence, but transformation, from active engagement with the outer world to a gentler dialogue with the inner world. It is comforting to know that every living being carries this need. Whether it is a bird tucking its head under its wing, or a human settling into a quiet bed, the essence is the same, a return to the rhythm of rest. Even in the animal kingdom, where survival is demanding, species have found ways to honor sleep. Dolphins, for example, allow one half of their brain to rest while the other half remains alert, enabling them to breathe and watch for danger. In this way, nature shows us that sleep is so vital that even adaptations must bend to its necessity. When you reflect on your own nights, you might notice how sleep comes differently on different days. Sometimes it arrives quickly, like a soft curtain falling. Other times it lingers, taking its time. But whether fast or slow, light or deep, sleep eventually arrives, because the body carries within it an ancient wisdom that knows rest is not optional. In moments of difficulty, it can be soothing to remember this truth. No matter how the day has been, sleep will return. Ultimately, sleep is not best understood only through scientific terms, though those help us appreciate its complexity. It is also a felt experience, a rhythm that every person knows. To define sleep, we might say it is the body's natural restoration. To describe it more softly, we might say it is the night's gentle embrace, a time when breath, heartbeat, and mind find a slower rhythm. To live is to sleep, and to sleep is to prepare for living. Every living creature carries within it a hidden rhythm, a gentle pulse It guides when to wake, when to rest, and when to renew. This rhythm is called the circadian cycle, from the Latin words circa meaning around and dies meaning day. Quite literally, it is the cycle that lasts about a day. For humans, it is roughly 24 hours long, though not perfectly aligned with the turning of the earth. You can imagine it as a soft metronome ticking inside the body, not with sound, but with patterns of hormones, temperature, and alertness. Circadian rhythms are not only about sleep, though sleep is their most visible expression. They influence nearly everything: the release of hormones, the rise and fall of body temperature, the timing of digestion, and even the sharpness of attention. The body is not a machine that runs at the same speed all the time. Instead, it is like a symphony that swells and softens through the day. The circadian rhythm is the conductor of this symphony, guiding the instruments of body and mind into harmony. The most powerful signal that sets this rhythm is light. Each morning, when the eyes meet the brightness of the sun, a message is carried deep into the brain. This message reaches a small cluster of neurons known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN for short, located just above the crossing point of the optic nerves. This tiny region, no larger than a grain of rice, is the master clock of the body. When light enters the eyes, the SCN resets itself, aligning our inner rhythm with the outer rhythm of the earth dot. As daylight fades, another signal rises. The pineal gland, a small structure nestled in the brain, begins to release melatonin, often called the hormone of darkness. Melatonin is not a sedative, but rather a signal to the body that night has come and that it is time to prepare for rest. In this way, light and darkness act as the bookends of each day, guiding the circadian cycle to keep us in balance. You may have noticed how travel across time zones can disturb this rhythm. This experience, commonly called jet lag, is the body's way of revealing how deeply the circadian cycle is wired into us. When the sun in a new place rises or sets at different times than your inner clock expects, the body needs days to adjust. During that adjustment, sleep may feel shallow, digestion may feel unsettled, and mood may sway. These changes remind us that the circadian rhythm is not a small detail, but a fundamental pattern of life. Even within the same location, the cycle can drift when light cues are altered. Think of how staying up late with bright screens can push back the natural rhythm, delaying the release of melatonin and making sleep harder to reach. The body reads light as day, even when it comes from a glowing phone or computer. This is why many people feel more rested when evenings are dim and mornings are bright. The circadian cycle listens closely to these signals, whether they come from the sun or from artificial light. The rhythm also explains why certain times of day feel different for thinking, moving, or resting. In the early morning, body temperature is lower and alertness is gentle. As the day progresses, temperature and hormone levels rise, bringing sharper focus and energy. Afternoon often brings a natural dip, a softness of alertness that has been recognized in cultures with traditions of rest, such as the siesta. Evening then carries a slow decline, preparing the mind and body for quietness. These waves are not weaknesses. They are signs of the natural tide of the circadian cycle, encouraging us to flow with it rather than resist it. Interestingly, not everyone's rhythm is exactly the same. Some people are naturally more alert in the morning, while others find their clarity in the evening. These tendencies are called chronotypes. They remind us that while the circadian rhythm is universal, it also has personal variations. Listening to one's own pattern can bring a sense of ease, reducing the friction that comes from trying to force the body into a rhythm that does not feel natural. Circadian rhythms also extend beyond humans. Plants open their leaves to the morning light and close them at night. Flowers turn toward the sun, then rest when it sets. Animals too follow their rhythms, whether it is birds greeting dawn with song or nocturnal creatures beginning their activities when the sky grows dark. This shared pattern across life suggests that circadian cycles are not only about survival, but about alignment with the very turning of the earth itself. On a deeper level, the circadian rhythm is a dialogue between the outside world and the inner body. The sun marks the passage of time, and the body translates that light into signals of wakefulness or rest. In modern life, this dialogue can sometimes be confused, with artificial light extending the day far into the night. Yet even then, the body remembers its ancient conversation with the sun. When we step outside into morning light, when we allow darkness to fall naturally in the evening, the circadian rhythm finds its way back, like a compass returning to north dot. It is also gentle to note that the rhythm does not need to be perfect. There will be nights when sleep comes late, mornings when waking feels heavy, or days when activity runs against the cycle. The body is resilient. Over time, the rhythm rebalances, just as tides return to shore even after storms. It can be comforting to trust this adaptability, knowing that the circadian cycle always seeks to restore balance. Connection between circadian rhythm and health is profound. Studies show that when the rhythm is consistently disrupted by irregular shifts of work, by constant exposure to light at night, or by long-term misalignment, the body and mind can feel strain. Energy wanes, mood may shift, and even the immune system feels the impact. But when the rhythm is respected, the opposite occurs. Sleep deepens, energy steadies, and well-being feels more secure. The cycle, when honored, becomes a silent support for every part of life. Thinking of the circadian rhythm in gentle terms, it is less a strict schedule and more a natural song. It sings of morning and evening, of activity and rest, of light and darkness. You may notice how aligning with this song feels calming, stepping into morning light, letting evenings grow softer, allowing the night to be truly dark. These small gestures remind the body of the melody it has always known dot at its essence. The circadian cycle is a reminder that life is patterned. Just as the heart beats in rhythm, just as breath flows in and out, the days themselves follow a rhythm within us. To understand circadian rhythms is to recognize that we are not separate from the earth's turning, but deeply woven into it. Sleep, wakefulness, hunger, alertness, all are guided by this gentle cycle dot in a world that often values constant activity. Remembering this rhythm can be an invitation to slow down. It can be a quiet permission to let mornings begin with light, to let nights deepen into darkness, and to trust the body's wisdom as it follows its own cycle. The circadian rhythm, then, is not only science. It is also comfort. It is the soft reminder that we are creatures of rhythm, and in following that rhythm, we find balance, calm, and rest. When we think of sleep, it may feel like a single, continuous state. The eyes close, awareness fades, and the body lies still until morning. Yet beneath this appearance of simplicity, sleep is far more dynamic. It unfolds in stages, like movements of a long, slow symphony, each with its own rhythm and purpose. By understanding these stages, we can appreciate how the night is carefully structured to renew both body and mind. Scientists often divide sleep into two main categories. Non-rapid eye movement sleep, known as NREM, and rapid eye movement sleep, known as REM. Together, these form the essential architecture of the night. Within NREM itself are several distinct stages, moving from light drowsiness to deep, restorative rest. The body and brain do not stay in one stage for the entire night. Instead, they cycle through these stages repeatedly, in patterns of about 90 minutes each. You might imagine these cycles as gentle waves rolling onto the shore, rising and falling, again and again until morning. The first stage of NREM is light sleep. It usually lasts only a few minutes, acting as the gateway between waking and resting. During this stage, the heartbeat slows, the breath becomes more regular, and muscles begin to relax. You may have noticed a sensation of drifting, or even a sudden twitch of the body, as if falling. These small jolts are harmless and reflect the nervous system adjusting from wakefulness to rest. Light sleep is fragile. Sounds or movements can easily stir someone awake. Yet it is also important because it allows the mind to ease gently into deeper stages. The second stage of NREM makes up a large part of the night. Here, the body continues to slow down. Temperature drops slightly, muscles release more tension, and brain activity becomes quieter, though not silent. Small bursts of activity, called sleep spindles and K-complexes, appear in the brain. While these may sound technical, you can think of them as protective rhythms, shielding the mind from outside noise and helping with memory processes. In this stage, sleep becomes more stable. It is no longer just a fragile bridge out of wakefulness. It is a true resting place. The third stage of NREM is often called deep sleep or slow wave sleep. This is the most restorative phase, when the body sinks into its deepest quiet. Heart rate and breathing reach their lowest levels. Muscles are fully relaxed, and brain waves slow into long, steady patterns. Deep sleep is especially important for physical repair. During this stage, tissues are restored, growth hormones are released, and the immune system is strengthened. For many people, this stage feels like the true core of sleep, a place of profound stillness from which waking is difficult. If you have ever been woken suddenly from deep sleep, you may recall the heavy, confused feeling known as sleep inertia. It reflects just how far the mind has traveled into rest. After moving through these stages of NREM, the body transitions into REM sleep. This stage is different from all the others. The eyes, though closed, move rapidly beneath the eyelids, giving the stage its name. Brain activity becomes more lively, almost resembling wakefulness, yet the body is largely paralyzed, preventing us from acting out our dreams. It is in REM sleep that most vivid dreaming occurs. The mind weaves together fragments of memory, emotion, and imagination into the stories we recall of waking. REM sleep is closely linked to learning, creativity, and emotional regulation. It is as though the brain, while the body rests, is busy integrating and reshaping the experiences of the day. A typical night does not consist of one block of each stage, but rather multiple cycles. The pattern usually begins with NREM stages, progressing into deep sleep, and then shifting into REM. This cycle repeats several times through the night, with early cycles favoring deep NREM sleep and later cycles favoring REM. By morning, REM stages can last longer, which is why dreams often feel more vivid close to waking. In this way, the night is a carefully balanced sequence, with each stage offering something unique. The balance between NREM and REM is not random. It reflects the needs of both body and mind. REM, particularly deep sleep, is essential for physical repair. Muscles heal, bones strengthen, and energy stores are replenished. REM, on the other hand, is essential for mental and emotional health. Memories are consolidated, emotions are processed, and creativity is nurtured. Together, these stages create a cycle that touches every part of who we are. To miss one is to feel the difference, not only in the body, but also in the mind. You might find it calming to know that the body manages this cycle naturally. We do not need to direct the stages any more than we need to tell the heart when to beat. The rhythm of NREM and REM is built into us, unfolding automatically when given the chance. Even after nights of poor sleep, the body often compensates, spending more time in the stage most needed. For example, after physical exertion, deep sleep may increase. After emotional stress, REM sleep may expand. This flexibility is the body's quiet wisdom, always seeking balance. Sleep stages also change with age. Infants spend much more time in REM, reflecting the rapid growth and learning of early life. Adults balance between deep NREM and REM, while older individuals may experience lighter sleep and shorter periods of deep rest. These changes are natural, not failures. They mirror the evolving needs of the body and the brain through the lifespan. Understanding this can bring ease, especially when sleep feels different than it once did. The stages of sleep remind us that rest is not uniform. It is layered, dynamic, and purposeful. Each stage has a role, just as each instrument has a place in an orchestra. Together, they create harmony, ensuring that the body is repaired, the mind is restored, and the emotions are balanced. The night is not empty time. It is a carefully structured process of renewal. In moments when sleep feels shallow or broken, it may help to remember that even short visits to different stages carry benefits. Light sleep calms the nervous system, deep sleep heals the body, and REM refreshes the mind. No night is ever wasted. The cycle continues, adjusting and adapting, always moving toward balance. By seeing sleep in this layered way, we can appreciate its elegance. What seems from the outside like stillness is, on the inside, a gentle journey through stages. Each night, without conscious effort, we move through gateways of light rest, deep renewal, and vivid dreaming. To understand sleep stages is to recognize that rest is not one note, but many, played softly, in sequence, until morning returns. When the body rests at night, the brain does not fall silent. Instead, it moves through delicate patterns of electrical activity, waves that rise and fall in slow or rapid rhythms. These patterns, called brain waves, are not visible to the eye but can be measured with sensitive instruments. They are the quiet music of the mind, unfolding continuously as we shift between wakefulness, light sleep, deep rest, and dreaming. Understanding them does not require technical detail. It only requires seeing them as the natural rhythms of the brain, reflecting states of calm, thought, and renewal. Brain waves are simply patterns of neurons firing together. Neurons, the cells of the brain, communicate through small electrical signals. When many of them fire in harmony, they create waves, just as individual drops of water can create ripples that merge into larger currents. These waves differ in speed. Some move quickly, rising and falling many times in a single second, while others drift slowly, like long swells in a calm sea. The speed of the waves is linked to how alert or restful the mind feels. During wakefulness, when we are alert, the brain produces fast waves known as beta. These are linked with focused thought, decision-making, and external engagement. When the mind begins to relax, perhaps during quiet reflection or before sleep, slower alpha waves emerge. Alpha waves are often described as the rhythm of calm wakefulness. You may notice them when sitting peacefully with eyes closed, breathing slowly, or simply resting without effort. They are like the gentle twilight between active day and restful night. As the body drifts into sleep, brain waves slow further. In the earliest stages of sleep, theta waves appear. Theta is slower and softer, linked with drowsiness and light dreaming. It marks the transition between awareness and sleep. This is why the first minutes after closing the eyes can feel fluid, with thoughts blending into images and fragments of dreams. Theta waves carry the mind gently across the threshold. When sleep deepens into its most restorative phase, slow wave sleep, delta waves dominate. These are the slowest brain waves, rising and falling only a few times per second. Delta waves are strong and steady, like the deep pulse of the ocean. They are closely tied to physical restoration, immune strengthening, and growth processes. In delta sleep, the body is at its most relaxed, and the mind is at its most quiet. This stage is difficult to wake from, because the brain has descended into this deep, slow rhythm that later in the night. When REM sleep begins, the picture changes again. Brain activity becomes more mixed, with faster waves resembling those of wakefulness. This explains why dreams during REM can feel vivid and complex, almost like waking experiences. Yet even though the brain is active, the body remains still, allowing the mind to wander freely in its inner world. Here, the rapid, varied brain waves are linked with emotional processing, memory integration, and creativity. It is important to remember that these waves are not separate or isolated. The brain moves fluidly between them, just as the tide moves between high and low. A night of sleep is a journey through shifting rhythms, each wave supporting a different kind of rest. Taken together, they create a cycle that balances body and mind. Brain waves also show us that rest is not an on-off switch. It is a continuum. From alert beta to calm alpha, from dreamy theta to restorative delta, the mind flows smoothly across states. Even within sleep, it does not stay fixed, but keeps moving, adapting to needs. This continuity can be reassuring. Even if sleep feels light at times, the brain is still working in rhythm, still giving the body what it needs. Another gentle truth is that brain waves are influenced by more than just sleep stages. They respond to breathing, to relaxation, and even to states of safety. Slow, steady breathing can encourage the mind into alpha and theta rhythms, preparing the body for sleep. A sense of calm, of being safe in the environment, also helps the brain ease into slower waves. This shows how body and mind are connected, each supporting the other in the process of rest. Across a lifetime, the patterns of brain waves change. Infants spend much more time in slow waves, reflecting the immense physical growth of early life. As children grow, the balance shifts, and REM becomes prominent for learning and memory. In older adulthood, slow waves may diminish, but lighter rhythms still provide rest. These changes are natural, reflecting the body's shifting needs at different stages of life. You might find it calming to imagine the night as a quiet concert of waves. Some passages are fast and light, others slow and deep, but all are part of a single composition. The brain conducts this music without effort, cycling naturally from one rhythm to the next. Our role is simply to allow the process, trusting that the body knows how to guide itself. For those who sometimes worry about the quality of their sleep, it can be soothing to remember that each stage has value. Even when deep sleep feels elusive, lighter stages with theta and alpha waves still bring calm and recovery. Even when dreams are forgotten, REM waves still support the emotions and the memory. The brain is always at work in rhythm, and each note of its music contributes to balance. The science of brain waves reminds us that rest is not emptiness. It is activity of a different kind, activity that restores rather than depletes. In the same way that the ocean is never truly still, but always moving in subtle currents, the brain is always alive with waves. Sleep is not the absence of life, but the gentle reorganization of it, guided by these invisible rhythms. At its heart, the study of brain waves is simply the recognition that the mind has tempos, just like music or breath. Fast tempos for thinking, slower tempos for dreaming, the slowest tempos for healing. Together, they form a cycle that repeats each night, carrying us through the stages of rest and back again to waking. To understand brain waves is to see that rest has structure, not random but ordered, not rigid but flowing. And perhaps the most comforting thought of all is this: you do not need to control these rhythms. The brain guides itself. It listens to light, to breath, to inner needs, and shapes its waves accordingly. Each night, without our direction, it weaves the patterns that keep us whole. Sleep, then, is not only a surrender to stillness, but a trust in the natural music of the brain, waves rising and falling, softly, until the morning light returns. When night arrives and the body begins to rest, one of the first changes you may notice is in the breath. During wakefulness, breathing is often irregular. It speeds up when we talk, slows when we pause, deepens with laughter, and sometimes holds briefly when we focus. At night, however, breathing finds a steadier rhythm. With eyes closed and body lying still, the breath begins to lengthen, moving with quiet consistency. This shift is not something we need to direct. It happens naturally, guided by the body's ancient patterns. As the breath slows, so too does the heartbeat. The circulatory system, which has worked tirelessly through the day to carry oxygen and nutrients, now eases into a more restful pace. In deep sleep, the heart rate can fall significantly below daytime levels. This gentle slowing allows the heart to recover, much like a steady drum finding a softer beat after hours of intensity. It is a reminder that rest is not only for the mind, but also for the most vital muscles of the body. The connection between breath and heart is close. Each inhale brings oxygen, which the heart distributes through blood, and each exhale releases carbon dioxide, a natural byproduct. At night, this exchange becomes calmer, more efficient. Blood pressure lowers, reducing strain on the vessels and giving them a chance to recover. It is as if the entire cardiovascular system sighs with relief. Finding balance in the quiet hours, muscles, too, enter their own rhythm of rest. Throughout the day, they contract, extend, and carry the weight of our movements. At night, they gradually release tension. In the lighter stages of sleep, some small twitches may appear, but as the body falls into deeper phases, the muscles become still. In REM sleep, the body even produces a kind of temporary paralysis, preventing large movements. Though it might sound unusual, this paralysis is protective, ensuring that dreams do not translate into actions. It creates a safe stillness in which the mind can wander freely while the body remains secure. Breathing patterns mirror these stages of sleep. In non-REM sleep, breathing becomes slow and regular with minimal effort. During REM sleep, however, it can become more irregular with changes in depth and rhythm. These fluctuations reflect the brain's heightened activity during dreams. Yet even in these moments, the body ensures that oxygen continues to flow steadily, maintaining balance. The variations are gentle, not harmful, part of the natural symphony of the night. Temperature also shifts as the body rests. In the evening, as melatonin levels rise, the core temperature begins to drop slightly. This cooling signals the body to prepare for sleep. During the night, temperature reaches its lowest point, often in the early morning hours. This subtle cooling is not a danger but a form of restoration. Lower temperature helps conserve energy and supports deeper sleep stages. You may notice how a cooler room often feels more conducive to rest, aligning with this natural process. Digestion slows as well. The stomach and intestines, busy during the day with processing food, reduce their activity. This allows the body to direct more energy toward repair and renewal. The liver and kidneys also follow daily rhythms, working at different intensities across the night. Far from shutting down, these organs adjust their pace, joining the body in its pattern of rest and recovery. The nervous system plays a central role in orchestrating these changes. During the day, the sympathetic nervous system often dominates, keeping us alert, ready to respond, and active. At night, the parasympathetic nervous system takes the lead. This branch is sometimes called the rest and digest system, and it gently slows heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and encourages digestion to quiet. Its influence can be felt in the calmness that spreads through the body as sleep deepens. Even the breath itself reflects this shift. With the parasympathetic system active, breathing becomes deeper and more regular. This steady pattern provides reassurance to the body, reinforcing the sense of safety needed for restorative sleep. The link between breath and nervous system is so strong that conscious breathing exercises during the day, such as slow inhales and long exhales, can encourage the same restful state that naturally arises at night, during sleep. Small adjustments in posture and movement continue. Though muscles are deeply relaxed, the body may shift positions a few times to relieve pressure and maintain circulation. These adjustments are unconscious, part of the body's wisdom to keep itself comfortable and safe. They rarely disrupt the deeper processes of rest. Instead, they are like gentle nudges, reminding us that the body is always attentive, even while the mind drifts away. Another fascinating change at night involves the respiratory control centers in the brain. These centers continue to monitor levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, adjusting the rate of breathing as needed. This ensures that even without awareness, the body maintains balance. It is a quiet assurance. While consciousness rests, the deeper systems continue their work with precision. Over the course of the night, the body cycles through different patterns of breath and heart rhythm, each stage supporting a different form of renewal. Deep, slow breathing in non-REM sleep supports physical healing. Variable, dream-linked breathing in REM supports mental and emotional processing. Together, these patterns provide a balance that touches every part of life. It is remarkable to think that we spend hours in this state, trusting the body to carry us through. Unlike waking life, where so much depends on conscious effort, sleep reminds us of the body's innate wisdom. Breath flows, heart beats, muscles release, and temperature adjusts, all without direction. This autonomy allows the mind to let go, knowing that the body knows how to care for itself. For many people, simply noticing the breath at night can be calming. Feeling its gentle rise and fall can act as a reminder of safety, a signal that rest is unfolding as it should. Even if thoughts remain active, the steady rhythm of breath provides an anchor, a constant companion throughout the night. From a broader view, breathing and body rhythms during sleep connect us to all living things. Every animal, from the smallest mammal to the largest whale, slows its breath and heart when resting. This universal pattern suggests that rest is not only personal, but deeply biological, shared across species. To breathe at night is to join a rhythm as old as life itself. Ultimately, the changes in breath, heart, muscles, and temperature during sleep are not random. They are carefully orchestrated by the body's systems to promote healing and balance. They remind us that rest is an active process, one in which the body works quietly for our well-being. Sleep is not merely the absence of wakefulness. It is a time of gentle reorganization, guided by rhythms that keep us alive. To reflect on these processes can bring peace. Even as we lie unaware, the body is caring for itself. Breath by breath, beat by beat, it restores strength for the day to come. Trusting this wisdom allows us to soften into the night, to release effort, and to remember that rest is safe, natural, and essential. Dreaming is one of the most intriguing aspects of sleep. Each night, as the body lies still, the mind creates vivid images, sounds, and stories that unfold without our conscious direction. Sometimes they feel ordinary, reflecting fragments of daily life. Other times they are unusual, weaving together places, people, and feelings in unexpected ways. To dream is to enter a space where imagination flows freely, untethered from the rules of waking reality. And yet, as mysterious as they seem, dreams are part of a natural process, guided by the rhythms of the sleeping brain. Most dreams occur during rapid eye movement sleep or REM sleep. In this stage, the brain becomes more active, almost as if it has returned to wakefulness, while the body remains largely motionless. The eyes shift quickly beneath the closed lids, reflecting inner activity, but the muscles stay relaxed and still. It is in this paradox, an active brain within a resting body, that dreaming flourishes. Though dreams can occur in other stages, REM sleep is their richest soil. But what exactly is a dream? At its simplest, it is the brain's way of generating images, emotions, and narratives without input from the outside world. During wakefulness, we are constantly influenced by sights, sounds, and sensations. At night, those external signals grow quiet, but the brain does not stop working. Instead, it turns inward, drawing upon memory, emotion, and imagination to create its own experience. A dream is not a random accident. It is the continuation of the mind's activity, expressed in a different form. Dreams are often described as strange or illogical, yet this is part of their value. The dreaming brain is not bound by the same strict logic that governs waking thought. This freedom allows it to connect ideas that might never meet in daytime awareness. A place from childhood may appear alongside a person met recently. A familiar emotion may surface in an unfamiliar scene. These juxtapositions are not errors but opportunities. They reflect the brain's effort to weave together different strands of experience, to test associations, and to explore possibilities. One of the important roles of dreaming is linked to memory. During REM sleep, the brain actively processes the experiences of the day. Memories are sifted, organized, and stored. Dreams often include fragments of recent events because the brain is working to integrate them. But rather than recording them like a camera, it reshapes them, blending them with older memories and emotions. This process helps learning, allowing us to carry forward what is useful while letting go of what is not. Dreams also play a role in emotion. When experiences are stressful, confusing, or deeply felt, they may reappear in dreams. In this way, dreaming acts as a form of emotional processing. The brain revisits difficult moments, but in a space where the body is safe and still. This gentle revisiting can soften the intensity of feelings, reducing their sharpness by morning. Many researchers believe that this is one of the key functions of dreaming. To regulate emotions and protect psychological balance. It is interesting to note that across cultures and history, people have given many interpretations to dreams. Some saw them as messages from beyond, others as reflections of inner desires. Modern science explains them more as byproducts of brain activity, yet still recognizes their importance. What unites all perspectives is the recognition that dreams matter. They are not dismissed as noise, but understood as meaningful in their own way. Whether symbolic, emotional, or biological. Not all dreams are remembered. In fact, most are forgotten upon waking. This is natural, as the brain does not treat every dream as information that must be stored. Remembered dreams tend to be those from later in the night, when REM periods are longer, and when waking occurs closer to the dreaming itself. Forgetting dreams does not mean they were unimportant. Even unremembered, they still serve their role in memory and emotion. Lucid dreaming is a unique variation in which the dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming. In this state, some people can influence the content of the dream, shaping its direction. While fascinating, lucid dreaming is not necessary for the benefits of dreaming. It is one more example of how the brain can shift awareness even in sleep, highlighting the flexibility of consciousness. Dreaming also connects us to our sense of creativity. Many insights, inventions, and works of art have been inspired by dreams. This reflects the brain's ability to combine ideas in novel ways while unbound by waking rules. Even when not producing creative breakthroughs, dreams nurture the same flexibility of thought that supports imagination in daily life. They are reminders that creativity is not limited to waking hours, but is part of the continuous flow of mind. From a biological perspective, dreaming also affects the body. During REM sleep, breathing becomes irregular, heart rate may vary, and small twitches can appear in the face or limbs. These changes reflect the intensity of brain activity. Yet the larger muscles remain still, held in protective rest. This combination allows the mind to be highly active while the body remains safe. It is another example of the body's wisdom, balancing activity and rest in perfect partnership. Across the lifespan, the nature of dreams changes. Children often dream more vividly and spend greater time in REM sleep. Adults balance between REM and non-REM, while older individuals may experience shorter or fewer REM periods. These shifts reflect developmental needs. Children's brains in rapid growth use dreams as part of learning and adaptation. Adults, managing complex lives, use dreams for memory and emotional balance. In later years, the reduced intensity of dreaming mirrors changing priorities of the aging brain. Despite their differences, all dreams share a common theme. They are part of the nightly process of restoration. Whether remembered or forgotten, peaceful or strange, they serve to organize, regulate, and renew. To dream is not to escape reality, but to support it, preparing the mind and body for the waking world. You might find comfort in knowing that even when dreams feel unsettling, they are part of a safe process. The brain uses them to rehearse challenges, explore emotions, and release tension. By morning, the sharpness often fades, replaced by calm readiness. In this way, dreaming acts as a gentle protector, quietly helping us navigate the complexities of life. When we step back, dreams can be seen as bridges. They connect the events of the day with the quiet of the night, linking memory, emotion, and imagination. They remind us that the mind is never still, but always weaving, always integrating. Dreams are the hidden narratives of sleep, soft stories told by the brain in the dark, not for entertainment, but for balance and growth. Not to understand dreaming is to see it not as an oddity, but as an essential rhythm of rest. It is the brain's way of continuing its work, even as the body finds stillness. Each dream, whether remembered or forgotten, plays its part in this quiet symphony. Together, they ensure that when morning comes, we rise renewed, carrying forward what we need and leaving behind what we do not. Every day, our minds collect countless impressions. A conversation with a friend, a task at work, a sound in the street, the colors of the sky at sunset. All of these leave traces in the brain. If the mind tried to hold every detail, it would quickly become overwhelmed. Instead, sleep provides the space where memories are sorted, strengthened, and sometimes released. This quiet nightly process allows us to wake with a clearer sense of what matters. Ready to continue learning. Memory is not a single thing. Scientists often describe it as having different forms. There is declarative memory, which includes facts and events that we can recall consciously, such as names, places, and experiences. There is procedural memory, which includes skills and habits, like playing an instrument, riding a bicycle, or typing on a keyboard. And there is emotional memory, which colors experiences with feelings. Each of these forms of memory benefits from sleep, though in different ways and at different stages of the night. During non-REM sleep, especially in the deep, slow wave stages, the brain replays patterns of activity from the day. This replay is not conscious. We are unaware of it happening. But in the background, networks of neurons strengthen their connections. A fact studied in the evening is rehearsed silently. A skill practiced during the day is repeated in miniature, like an echo. This replay stabilizes the memory, making it more likely to be available the next day. In this way, deep sleep acts as a protector of memory, guarding it against forgetting. REM sleep, by contrast, often refines and reshapes memory. Here the brain is more active and dreaming emerges. Memories are not only replayed, but also reorganized, integrated with older knowledge, and linked with emotions. This is why sleep does not simply preserve information as it is, but often helps us see new connections. An idea studied yesterday may feel clearer after a night's rest. A problem that seemed unsolvable may feel lighter, as if the mind had been working on it quietly in the dark. The connection between sleep and learning is strong enough that it has been observed in many studies. People who learn new material and then sleep are more likely to recall it accurately than those who remain awake. The same is true for motor skills. Practice followed by sleep results in greater improvement than practice alone. Even naps can provide some of these benefits, showing that the link between sleep and learning is not limited to the night, but the role of sleep is not only to remember, it is also to let go. The brain does not keep every detail of every day. Instead, it selects what is important and gradually releases what is less so. This forgetting is healthy. Without it, the mind would be crowded with unnecessary fragments. Sleep helps refine memory, preserving what is useful and clearing what is not. In this sense, forgetting is not a failure, but a form of learning. An active making space. Emotions are closely tied to this process. Events that carry strong feelings are more likely to be replayed during sleep. This makes sense. The brain prioritizes what matters for safety, for connection, for meaning. Yet dreams often soften these emotions, reducing their intensity. A stressful memory may return in a dream, but in a form that is less sharp, less painful. By morning, the emotional weight may be lighter. In this way, sleep not only consolidates knowledge, but also regulates the feelings attached to it. The hippocampus, a structure deep in the brain, plays a central role in this process. During the day, it acts as a temporary storehouse, holding new experiences. At night, during deep sleep, it communicates with the neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for long-term storage. Information is gradually transferred, like moving items from a short-term desk to a long-term archive. This transfer is essential for learning. Without it, new experiences would remain fragile, easily lost. With it, they become woven into the larger fabric of knowledge. Procedural learning, the memory of skills and habits, also depends on sleep. A musician practicing a new piece may find that it feels smoother the next day, even without further practice. An athlete may notice subtle improvements after a night's rest. These gains reflect the brain's quiet rehearsal of motor patterns during sleep. Neural circuits are strengthened, timing is refined, and coordination improves. In this way, sleep acts as a silent coach, supporting progress without conscious effort. Sleep also prepares the brain for new learning. A night of deep, restorative rest clears space for the following day. Attention sharpens, focus steadies, and the brain is more capable of absorbing information. When sleep is shortened or fragmented, learning suffers, not only because memories are less well consolidated, but also because the mind is less prepared to take in new material. Rest and learning, then, are part of a cycle. Sleep strengthens what we already know and opens the door to what we will discover next. Across the lifespan, the link between sleep and memory evolves. Children, with their rapidly growing brains, spend large amounts of time in deep sleep and REM, supporting both learning and emotional development. Students and adults engaged in complex learning and work rely heavily on sleep to integrate and apply knowledge. Older adults may experience lighter sleep, yet memory processes still occur, even if differently balanced. In every age, sleep plays its role in shaping what we know and how we remember. You might notice how, after nights of poor sleep, thoughts feel scattered and memory less reliable. This reflects the importance of nightly consolidation. Conversely, after nights of deep, restful sleep, the mind feels clearer, as if information has been tidied and filed away. These differences are reminders that learning does not happen only in classrooms or conversations. It continues silently in the night, guided by the rhythms of sleep. It is comforting to realize that even when we are unaware, the brain is working for us. Memories are not passive. They are living patterns, strengthened and shaped by rest. Sleep is the unseen partner of every effort to learn, every attempt to grow. Without it, knowledge remains fragile. With it, knowledge deepens and endures. To understand memory and learning in sleep is to see rest as active, not empty. The night is not a pause, but a workshop, where the mind organizes, rehearses, and prepares. Each morning, we wake not only refreshed, but subtly changed, carrying with us the quiet work of the night. This gentle truth highlights the wisdom of the body, that rest is not separate from growth, but essential to it. Emotions are the colors of daily life. They shape how we perceive the world, how we respond to challenges, and how we connect with others. Joy, sadness, anxiety, relief, hope. Each emotion leaves an imprint on the mind. During the day, these feelings can be sharp, sometimes overwhelming. At night, when the body rests, sleep provides a space for these emotions to soften, to reorganize, and to find balance. Rest is not only for muscles and memory, but also for the heart and mind. One of the ways sleep supports emotions is by regulating the amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure in the brain, deeply involved in emotional responses. During the day, the amygdala helps us detect threats, respond to social signals, and process fear or excitement. Without rest, the amygdala can become overactive, amplifying emotions and making them feel less manageable. Sleep, especially deep non-REM stages, calms this system, reducing its reactivity. By morning, emotions that felt overwhelming may seem more contained, less intense. REM sleep adds another layer of support. In this stage, dreams emerge, and with them comes a unique opportunity for the brain to revisit emotions in a safe environment. Stressful experiences, when replayed in dreams, often lose some of their sharpness. The emotional brain remains active, but stress-related chemicals, such as noradrenaline, are reduced. This unusual combination allows us to process feelings without being flooded by them. In this way, REM sleep acts like a gentle therapist, helping the mind work through experiences while protecting it from being overwhelmed. You might have noticed how a difficult day can feel lighter after a night's sleep. Conflicts may seem less urgent and worries less consuming. This change is not simply due to time passing, but reflects the emotional recalibration that sleep provides. The brain takes the raw material of feelings and gently reshapes them, smoothing rough edges and restoring balance. When sleep is shortened or disrupted, the opposite often occurs. Emotional regulation becomes more difficult. Irritation rises more quickly, anxiety feels sharper, and sadness may deepen. Even small challenges can feel heavy. These shifts reveal how closely sleep and emotion are tied. Without rest, the brain struggles to regulate feelings, leaving us more vulnerable to stress. With rest, emotions regain balance, allowing us to navigate life with steadier perspective. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain involved in reasoning and decision-making, also benefits from sleep. This region helps regulate the amygdala, providing a calming influence on emotions. When sleep is sufficient, the connection between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala is strong. When sleep is lacking, that connection weakens, leaving emotions more raw and less guided by reason. This is why exhaustion often leads to overreaction, and why sleep restores calm judgment. Emotional memory also relies on sleep. Feelings tied to experiences are not erased at night, but are integrated. A joyful moment may be reinforced, making it easier to recall with warmth the next day. A stressful event may be softened, reducing its intensity. This integration helps maintain emotional continuity while preventing emotions from becoming overwhelming. It allows us to carry forward what matters while easing what might burden us. Dreams, though sometimes puzzling, often reflect this emotional work. They may revisit conflicts, fears, or longings in symbolic form. Even if the content seems strange, the process is purposeful. The brain is exploring emotions in a creative, flexible way, making sense of them in the quiet of the night. By morning, the conscious mind may not remember the dream, but the emotional system has still been shaped by it, often in healing ways. Across the lifespan, the relationship between sleep and emotion remains vital. Children, with their developing brains, rely heavily on sleep to regulate emotions, which is why lack of sleep often leads to irritability. Teenagers, whose emotional systems are especially sensitive, are deeply affected by sleep patterns. Adults managing responsibilities and stress feel the stabilizing power of rest. Older adults, even with lighter sleep, still benefit from the emotional regulation that night provides. At every stage, sleep is an ally to emotional balance. There is also a gentle social dimension. When we are well rested, we are more patient, empathetic, and able to connect with others. Fatigue, by contrast, often narrows our focus and reduces empathy. In this way, sleep influences not only individual well-being, but also relationships and communities. A rested mind is more open, more compassionate, more capable of kindness. For those who struggle with sleep, it can be comforting to know that even partial rest helps. A short nap can reduce irritability. A few nights of deeper sleep can restore emotional balance after a stressful period. The body and brain are resilient. They do not require perfection, but respond positively even to small improvements. This resilience reflects the deep evolutionary importance of emotional regulation through rest. From a scientific perspective, the connection between sleep and mood disorders is also significant. Conditions such as depression and anxiety are often linked to disrupted sleep. Restoring healthy sleep can improve emotional stability, and improving emotional health can in turn improve sleep. The two are intertwined, each supporting the other in a cycle of healing. Thinking of emotions and sleep in gentle terms, we can see the night as a safe container. It holds the day's feelings, gives them space to unfold, and then releases them in softened form. The body breathes steadily, The brain cycles through its stages, and emotions find their balance. This nightly process is not dramatic, but steady, reliable, and profoundly important. To reflect on this is to understand that rest is not only physical, but emotional. Each night is an opportunity to restore balance, not only to muscles and memory, but to the heart. Sleep teaches us that it is natural to feel strongly during the day, and natural to soften those feelings at night. By trusting this process, we allow ourselves to wake more centered, more ready to meet the world with calm and openness. Ultimately, sleep and emotion are partners in well-being. The day brings challenges, feelings, and connections. The night brings space, regulation, and renewal. Together they form a cycle that sustains mental health, resilience, and compassion. To honor rest is to honor emotion, and to honor emotion is to support rest. Both are needed, and both work quietly, hand in hand, to sustain us. Among the many stages of sleep, REM rapid eye movement sleep holds a special place. It is here that dreams become vivid, that the brain shows lively patterns of activity, and that emotions and memories are deeply processed. REM sleep is sometimes called paradoxical sleep because in this stage, the brain looks almost awake, yet the body remains still and quiet. This paradox reveals its mystery. REM is both rest and activity, silence and movement, renewal and exploration. Understanding why we need REM shows us how essential this stage is for balance and well-being. One of the most important roles of REM sleep is emotional regulation. During the day, experiences stir strong feelings: excitement, frustration, fear, joy. These feelings leave traces in the brain. At night, during REM, the brain revisits them in a safe environment. Chemicals linked with stress are reduced, allowing the mind to explore emotions without being overwhelmed. Dreams may reflect fragments of these experiences, but their purpose is not to relive stress. It is to soften it. By morning, the emotional weight is often lighter, and balance is restored. Without REM, the edges of emotions would remain sharp, making daily life harder to manage. REM sleep also plays a central role in memory, but in a way different from deep non-REM stages. Whereas slow-wave sleep stabilizes and strengthens memories, REM reshapes and integrates them. It weaves new information into older knowledge, creating connections that may not be obvious during waking hours. This process supports learning, problem-solving, and creativity. Many people have noticed that after sleep, new ideas or solutions appear, as if the mind had been quietly working overnight. REM is the stage where this quiet work blossoms, linking the known with the new. Creativity is closely tied to REM. The unusual, sometimes surreal nature of dreams reflects the brain's freedom in this stage. Without the constraints of waking logic, the mind can explore unexpected combinations. This flexibility nurtures imagination, not only in art or invention, but also in everyday problem solving. To dream is to practice thinking in broader, more fluid ways. The creativity fostered in REM does not remain in the night. It flows into waking life, enriching how we see and respond to the world. The body also benefits from REM sleep, though in subtler ways than deep physical restoration. During REM, the brain coordinates processes that influence mood, attention, and even immune function. The variability in heart rate and breathing seen in REM reflects the dynamic activity of the brain. These fluctuations are safe, part of the rhythm that allows the nervous system to rehearse and regulate itself. In this way, REM contributes to resilience, preparing both body and mind to face the challenges of a new day. The importance of REM becomes especially clear when it is disrupted. People deprived of REM often experience mood changes, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Creativity and problem-solving may feel dulled. Over time, chronic lack of REM is linked with emotional imbalance and even mental health conditions. The brain seeks to protect this stage. When deprived, it often rebounds by entering REM more quickly and spending more time there once sleep resumes. This rebound effect shows how vital REM truly is. Across the lifespan, the amount of REM sleep shifts. Infants spend a large portion of the night in REM, reflecting the immense learning and brain development of early life. As we grow older, the proportion decreases but remains significant. Even in later years, when sleep becomes lighter, REM continues to play its role. This lifelong presence suggests that REM is not a luxury, but a necessity, supporting growth, adaptation, and balance at every stage of life. ME is also deeply connected to mental health. Conditions such as depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress often involve disruptions in REM sleep. Dreams may become intense, fragmented, or absent. Improving REM can help improve mood, and improving mood can help stabilize REM. The two are intertwined, part of the same cycle of healing. This relationship highlights the role of REM not only as a nightly process, but as a cornerstone of psychological well-being. Some researchers describe REM as a rehearsal space. Here the brain simulates social interactions, explores possible scenarios, and processes unresolved conflicts. Though not literal predictions, these simulations help prepare us for the complexity of life. They allow us to practice safely in dreams what may challenge us when awake. This rehearsal function adds another layer of meaning to why REM is essential. It prepares us emotionally, mentally, and socially for what is to come. You might find it calming to think of REM as the night storyteller. It takes the fragments of daily life, mixes them with memories and emotions, and shapes them into narratives. Some are coherent, others abstract, but all serve a purpose. The stories of REM are not random entertainment, but tools of the mind, shaping how we feel and think when morning arrives. From a broader view, REM shows us that rest is not passive. Even in the stillness of sleep, the brain remains active, working quietly for our benefit. This activity is not wasted energy, but purposeful renewal. By preserving emotional balance, strengthening learning, nurturing creativity, and preparing us for challenges, REM supports the whole of life. If you have ever woken from a vivid dream, you may have felt the lingering emotions, sometimes pleasant, sometimes puzzling. Whether remembered or forgotten, those dreams were part of the essential process of REM. They help the brain organize, heal, and prepare. To need REM is simply to be human, to share in a rhythm that has shaped life for millions of years. Ultimately, REM sleep is a reminder that rest has many layers. Some layers repair the body, others restore the mind, and REM weaves them together with emotion and creativity. To sleep fully is to give the body access to all these layers, each with its role. Among them, REM stands out as the stage that ensures we not only live but thrive. Sleep is often described as rest, but it is more than stillness. Beneath the surface of quiet breathing and relaxed muscles, the body is engaged in active repair. Night is the time when tissues rebuild, cells restore their energy, and systems align themselves for the coming day. To understand sleep as physical repair is to recognize that healing is not only a response to injury, but a nightly rhythm, woven into the natural cycles of life. One of the most visible forms of repair during sleep involves the muscles. Every movement, every effort of the day places small strains on muscle fibers. These are not necessarily harmful, but part of natural use. At night, Especially during deep, slow-wave sleep, the body releases growth hormone, which supports the repair of these tiny tears. Proteins are synthesized, tissues rebuilt, and strength restored. Athletes often notice how crucial sleep is to recovery, but this process belongs to everyone, whether lifting weights or simply carrying the tasks of daily life. Muscles need rest to maintain their balance, and sleep provides that opportunity. Bones, too, benefit from the nightly process. Remodeling of bone tissue, the balance between breakdown and rebuilding, continues silently in sleep. Hormones that support bone density are released, helping to maintain strength and structure. Though we may not feel this process, it is essential, ensuring that the framework of the body remains resilient over time. The skin, our largest organ, also undergoes renewal at night. Cells in the outer layer divide more rapidly, replacing those that have been damaged by sunlight, pollution, or small injuries. Blood flow to the skin increases during sleep, providing nutrients needed for healing. This is one reason why lack of sleep can leave the skin looking dull or fatigued. The nightly repair has been shortened. With regular rest, however, the skin quietly refreshes itself, maintaining its protective role and its vitality. The immune system, our defense against illness, is strongly tied to sleep. During the night, immune cells become more active. They patrol the body, seeking out viruses, bacteria, and damaged cells. At the same time, signaling molecules called cytokines are released, supporting communication between immune responses. These processes strengthen defenses, making us less vulnerable to infections. When sleep is reduced, the immune system weakens, and illness becomes more likely. When sleep is restored, so too is immune strength. In this way, each night of rest can be thought of as a nightly vaccination, gently reinforcing protection. At the cellular level, repair is even more intricate. Cells produce energy through tiny structures called mitochondria, and during the day, these systems accumulate byproducts of use. Sleep provides the time to clear these byproducts, reset energy supplies, and restore balance. DNA within cells is also monitored and repaired during sleep, correcting small errors that arise naturally in the course of life. This nightly maintenance is one of the reasons sleep contributes to long-term health. It allows the body to keep itself whole, preventing small issues from growing larger. The brain itself undergoes physical cleaning at night. In recent years, researchers have identified a system known as the glymphatic system, which becomes more active during sleep. This system clears waste products from the brain, including proteins that, if allowed to accumulate, may contribute to disease. The increase in cerebrospinal fluid flow during deep sleep acts like a gentle rinse, carrying away debris. Though invisible to us, this cleaning is one of the most profound examples of physical repair. It shows that rest is not idleness, but active preservation. Hormones guide much of this nightly work. Growth hormone, mentioned earlier, peaks during deep sleep, supporting tissue repair and metabolism. Cortisol, a hormone linked with stress, follows its own rhythm, remaining low at night and rising toward morning to help prepare the body for wakefulness. Insulin sensitivity, which influences how the body uses glucose, also improves with healthy sleep, supporting balanced energy. Each hormone moves in rhythm, aligned with the cycles of sleep, contributing to the larger pattern of restoration. The cardiovascular system benefits as well. During sleep, heart rate and blood pressure lower, giving the heart and vessels time to recover from daytime demands. This nightly pause is protective, reducing strain and supporting long-term cardiovascular health. Over time, consistent rest acts as one of the simplest but most powerful supports for the heart. It is another reminder that sleep is not separate from health, but part of its foundation. For those recovering from illness or injury, the need for sleep often increases. This is not weakness, but wisdom. The body directs more energy to repair when challenged, and sleep provides the environment in which that repair can occur most effectively. Fever, for example, often brings about drowsiness, encouraging more rest. This is the body's way of ensuring that immune defenses have the resources they need. In this sense, sleep is both prevention and treatment, protecting against illness and supporting recovery when illness arises. Over the course of the night, different stages of sleep contribute to repair in different ways. Deep non-REM sleep provides the foundation for tissue restoration and immune strengthening. REM sleep, though more associated with mental functions, also contributes by regulating stress hormones and supporting balance in the nervous system. The alternation of these stages creates a complete cycle of repair, touching every system in turn. The absence of sufficient sleep reveals just how essential this process is. When rest is shortened, muscles recover less fully, immune responses weaken, skin renewal slows, and mental clarity diminishes. Over time, chronic lack of sleep can increase risks for many conditions, from infections to cardiovascular disease. But the reassuring truth is that the body is resilient. When given the chance, it restores balance quickly. Even after periods of poor rest, returning to healthy sleep patterns allows the repair systems to resume their work. To think of sleep as physical. Repair is to appreciate its generosity. Each night, without conscious effort, the body undertakes thousands of small acts of healing. Cells restore themselves, tissues rebuild, systems align. We do not need to guide this process, only to allow it. By lying down, closing the eyes, and surrendering to rest, we give the body permission to do what it already knows. Perhaps the most comforting thought is that physical repair in sleep is universal. Every person, regardless of age or condition, shares in this nightly restoration. It is part of what connects us as living beings, the need to pause, to heal, to renew. Just as breath unites us, so too does the rhythm of repair. To rest is to join this ancient cycle, one that has supported life for millions of years. In the morning, we may not feel every detail of what has occurred, but we rise with strength that was quietly rebuilt in the night. Muscles are restored, skin refreshed, immune defenses strengthened, and energy renewed. Sleep is not the absence of activity, but the presence of healing. By trusting this process, we honor the body's wisdom, remembering that rest is not weakness, but one of the deepest forms of strength. When we think of sleep, we often imagine comfort, stillness, and the release of effort. Behind the scenes, however, there are signals that guide this process. Among the most important of these signals is melatonin, a hormone often called the hormone of darkness. Its name might sound mysterious, but its role is gentle and reassuring. Melatonin is not a sedative, not a force that pushes us into sleep, but rather a natural messenger, telling the body when it is time to rest. Melatonin is produced by the pineal gland, a small structure deep within the brain. This gland, no larger than a grain of rice, responds to changes in light and darkness. When daylight fades and evening begins, the eyes send signals to the brain that night has arrived. In response, the pineal gland increases its release of melatonin. Levels rise in the bloodstream, reaching a peak during the night, and then gradually decline as morning approaches. This daily rhythm helps align the body's internal clock with the cycle of the earth. You might notice that melatonin's role is not to induce sleep immediately, as a pill might, but to prepare the body. It is more like a gentle reminder, a soft signal that the night has come, and that systems should begin to shift into rest mode. Body temperature lowers slightly, alertness decreases, and the body becomes more receptive to sleep. In this way, melatonin acts as a guide, pointing the way rather than forcing the path. Light is the most powerful regulator of melatonin. Bright light, especially blue light from the morning sun, suppresses melatonin release and signals the body to be awake. Darkness, by contrast, allows melatonin to rise. This is why evenings with dimmer light feel more restful, and mornings with natural sunlight help us wake more fully. It also explains why artificial light late at night can delay sleep. The body reads that light as a continuation of day, holding back melatonin and thus delaying the natural signal for rest. Melatonin is closely tied to the circadian rhythm, the inner cycle of about 24 hours that governs sleep, alertness, and many other processes. By rising at night and falling in the morning, melatonin anchors this rhythm, keeping it aligned with the external world. Without it, the inner clock would drift, making it harder to feel awake during the day and sleepy at night. This alignment is why melatonin is sometimes described as the body's timekeeper. Beyond its role in signaling sleep, melatonin has other functions. It acts as an antioxidant, protecting cells from damage by neutralizing free radicals. This protective role extends to many tissues, including the brain, where melatonin supports health over time. It also influences immune function, helping to regulate the activity of immune cells. Though these roles are less widely known, they show that melatonin is not only about sleep, but also about overall balance and protection. The importance of melatonin is often noticed when it is disrupted. Traveling across time zones, for example, creates jet lag, in part because melatonin release no longer matches the local day and night. The body may continue to release melatonin according to the old schedule, leaving us drowsy at unusual hours and alert when we wish to sleep. Over several days, light exposure helps reset melatonin's rhythm, gradually aligning the inner clock with the new environment. Shift work is another situation where melatonin can be challenged. Working at night under bright light and trying to sleep during the day can confuse the signal. The pineal gland receives conflicting cues, and melatonin release may be delayed or reduced. This makes sleep more fragile and less restorative. While the body is adaptable, long-term disruption of melatonin rhythms can make rest more difficult, reminding us of the hormone's importance. Some people take melatonin as a supplement, especially to ease jet lag or adjust to new sleep schedules. While such supplements can be useful in certain contexts, it is important to remember that melatonin is not a powerful sleep inducer. Its natural role is modest and gentle. It signals the body, but it does not override it. This perspective helps us see melatonin not as a drug to enforce sleep, but as a natural whisper, aligning the body with the rhythm of light and darkness. Melatonin levels change across the lifespan. Children and young adults tend to produce more, supporting long nights of restorative sleep. With age, levels often decline, which may contribute to lighter, shorter sleep in older adults. These changes are natural, reflecting shifts in the body's needs. Even so, the signal remains present, continuing to guide the rhythm of night and day. What is most reassuring about melatonin is that we do not need to control it consciously. By simply following natural cues, bright light in the morning, softer light in the evening, and darkness at night, we support its rhythm. Stepping outside in daylight soon after waking, dimming lights as bedtime approaches, and allowing the night to be truly dark, all help melatonin guide us. These are small gestures, but they align us with a process that has been part of life for millions of years. The presence of melatonin shows us that sleep is not imposed from outside, but arises from within. The body carries within it the signals, rhythms, and wisdom needed for rest. Melatonin is one of those signals, a reminder written into our biology that night is a time for restoration. It is soft, steady, and reliable, asking only that we allow it to do its work. To think of melatonin in gentle terms, we might imagine it as the evening's voice, quietly telling the body that the day has ended. It does not shout or command. It suggests and guides. In doing so, it helps the mind and body shift naturally toward rest, making the transition smoother and more secure. Ultimately, the role of melatonin is to remind us that sleep is part of the larger cycle of life. Light and darkness, day and night, activity and rest, all are linked by this quiet messenger. By trusting its rhythm, we trust the wisdom of our own bodies. Each night, as melatonin rises and signals the approach of sleep, it carries the simple but profound message. It is time to let go, to restore, and to be held in the calm rhythm of rest. Dreams are not fixed or uniform. They evolve with us, reflecting the different stages of life. From the vivid, abundant dreams of infancy to the lighter, sometimes more fragmented dreams of later years, the patterns of dreaming mirror the needs of the developing and aging brain. To explore how dreams change across ages is to see sleep not as a single experience, but as a living rhythm that grows, adapts, and softens throughout our lives. In the earliest years of life, dreaming is at its most abundant. Infants spend nearly half of their sleep in REM, the stage most strongly linked with vivid dreams. Their brains are growing at an extraordinary rate, forming connections at a pace that will never be matched later. In this time of rapid development, dreams may serve as a rehearsal space, helping the brain process sensations and experiences. Though infants cannot tell us their dreams, the sheer amount of REM sleep suggests that this stage plays a profound role in early growth. As children grow, their dream patterns begin to shift. While still rich in REM, the balance of sleep stages starts to include more deep non-REM sleep. Dreams in childhood often reflect the wonder and challenges of early life. They may involve imaginative scenarios, fantastical creatures, or elements of daily experiences woven together in creative ways. Children's dreams often carry the same openness and fluidity that we see in their play. At the same time, sleep supports the immense task of learning language, skills, and social interaction. Dreams are part of this learning process, helping the young brain integrate vast amounts of new information. During adolescence, dreams take on new dimensions. Sleep needs remain high, though schedules often become irregular. REM sleep continues to play an essential role in emotional regulation, particularly important as teenagers experience stronger and more complex feelings. Dreams at this stage may become more emotionally intense, reflecting the challenges of identity, relationships, and growth. Adolescence is also a time when sleep schedules often shift later, with melatonin release occurring later in the evening. This natural shift influences when dreams occur, often pushing vivid REM periods further into the night or early morning. Adulthood brings another evolution in dream patterns. While REM sleep remains essential, its proportion of total sleep decreases compared with childhood. Adults typically spend around 20 to 25% of the night in REM, cycling through stages of dreaming that help regulate emotions, consolidate memories, and nurture creativity. Dreams in adulthood often weave together the complexities of work, family, and personal aspirations. They may reflect problem-solving, unresolved emotions, or symbolic representations of daily challenges. Even when forgotten, these dreams continue to shape mood and perspective, supporting the balance needed to manage adult life. The middle years of Adulthood often brings changes in sleep schedules and pressures that influence dreaming. Stress, responsibilities, and lifestyle patterns may affect both the quality and recall of dreams. Yet even amid these challenges, REM sleep continues its quiet work. The dreaming mind provides a nightly space where emotions can be softened and reorganized, preparing the individual to face the demands of waking life with steadiness. As people grow older, dream patterns shift again. Total sleep time often decreases, and sleep becomes lighter, with shorter or less frequent periods of deep, slow-wave sleep. REM sleep also changes, sometimes becoming shorter or more fragmented. Dreams may feel less vivid, or they may be recalled less often. Yet even in these later years, dreaming remains an important part of the night. It continues to support memory, emotional regulation, and a sense of continuity. The quieter dreams of older age are no less meaningful. They simply reflect the changing needs of the aging brain. Some older adults report dreams that feel calmer or more reflective, mirroring the perspective of later life. These dreams may revisit earlier memories, weaving past and present into narratives of continuity. They may also involve themes of resolution, acceptance, or integration. In this way, dreams at the end of life can serve as gentle companions, supporting emotional balance and reflecting the wisdom of lived experience. Across all ages, dreams are influenced not only by biology, but also by culture and environment. The stories children hear, the challenges teenagers face, the responsibilities adults carry, and the reflections of older years all shape the content of dreams. Yet the underlying rhythm, the cycling through REM and non-REM, the nightly space for imagination and emotion, remains constant. This constancy is reassuring, reminding us that no matter the stage of life, dreams are a faithful part of human experience. Another fascinating aspect of dreaming across ages is recall. Children often recall dreams vividly, sometimes sharing them with great detail. Teenagers may also remember dreams clearly, particularly those with strong emotions. Adults often forget most dreams upon waking, as responsibilities and thoughts quickly take over. Older adults may recall dreams less often, though when remembered, they can carry a special sense of significance. This pattern of recall shows how dreams remain present even when not consciously remembered. Their work continues quietly, shaping the mind regardless of memory. It is also important to recognize that dream changes with age are natural, not signs of loss. Just as the body's needs for food, activity, and rest evolve, so too do the patterns of dreaming. Infants need more REM to support brain growth. Adults balance between REM and deep sleep to support complex lives. Older adults need less intensive dreaming, reflecting the slowing of development. Each stage carries its own wisdom, its own balance. In reflecting on dreams across ages, we can see them as threads woven into the fabric of life. They adapt, shift, and transform, but they are never absent. Dreams are companions from the earliest days of infancy to the final years of life. They guide learning, soften emotions, nurture creativity, and provide continuity. To dream is to participate in a rhythm that evolves with us, supporting who we are at every stage. Ultimately, dream patterns across ages remind us that sleep is not static, but dynamic, growing and changing as we do. Infants dream to build, children dream to learn, teenagers dream to regulate emotions, adults dream to balance, and older adults dream to integrate. Each age brings its own kind of dreaming, and all are valuable. This understanding can bring peace, reassuring us that whatever form our dreams take, they are serving the needs of the moment. Sleep is not only a human experience. It is a rhythm shared across life, found in birds that fold their wings at night, in mammals that curl into nests or burrows, and even in creatures of the sea that drift in the depths. To explore sleep in different species is to see that rest is a universal need, adapted in countless ways to the challenges of survival. Whether simple or complex, every living being must balance activity with stillness, and sleep provides that balance. Among mammals, sleep takes many forms. Humans typically sleep for 7 to 9 hours in a block of night rest, but other mammals have patterns shaped by their environments. Cats, for example, are known for their long hours of slumber. They may sleep up to 16 hours a day, often in short naps rather than one continuous stretch. This pattern reflects their predatory lifestyle, bursts of energy for hunting, followed by long periods of rest to conserve energy. Dogs show a similar rhythm, with flexible sleep that adjusts to their companions and surroundings. Elephants, in contrast, sleep far less. Wild elephants may rest only 4 or 5 hours per day, often while standing. Their size and need for constant feeding make long stretches of rest impractical. Yet even with little sleep, elephants still show phases resembling REM, though shorter than in humans. This suggests that while the form of sleep differs, the function, balancing energy, supporting memory, regulating emotion, remains. Marine mammals offer some of the most remarkable adaptations. Dolphins and certain species of whales engage in unihemispheric sleep, meaning that one half of the brain rests while the other remains awake. This allows them to continue surfacing for air and remain alert to danger. During this time, one eye stays open, reflecting the wakeful hemisphere, while the other eye closes, reflecting the resting side. Despite this unusual pattern, the purpose remains the same, alternating activity with restoration. Even in the open ocean, sleep finds its way. Birds also display fascinating sleep strategies. Many species experience unihemispheric sleep like dolphins, allowing them to rest while still keeping watch for predators. Migratory birds can even sleep while flying, briefly shutting down parts of the brain during long journeys. Songbirds show REM-like phases, with rapid eye movements and changes in brain activity similar to mammals. Though their sleep may be shorter or lighter, the same rhythms of restoration and dreaming are present. Reptiles, once thought to have simpler rest patterns, have also been found to cycle through states resembling REM and non-REM. This discovery suggests that the architecture of sleep may be more ancient than once believed, reaching deep into evolutionary history. Even creatures without complex brains still show patterns of activity and rest, reflecting the universality of this need. Insects, too, display behaviors that resemble sleep. Flies, for example, enter periods of immobility with reduced responsiveness, and these periods are necessary for survival. When deprived of rest, they show difficulties in memory and activity, much like larger animals. Bees exhibit similar cycles, resting between foraging tasks. Though their brains are tiny, the same pattern emerges, a rhythm of activity and renewal. Fish reveal another variation. Many species reduce their movement and responsiveness at night, often settling near the bottom or finding shelter in rocks. Some even show changes in brain activity, similar to those seen in terrestrial animals. While their rest does not look identical to mammalian sleep, the function appears shared: conservation of energy and restoration of the body. What unites all these patterns is the recognition that sleep is not optional but fundamental. Whether through long, deep rest or short, scattered naps, whether in a nest, a burrow, or the open ocean, animals have evolved ways to meet the need for sleep while surviving in their environments. This diversity of strategies highlights the adaptability of life, but also the constancy of the rhythm itself. The duration of sleep varies widely. Bats may sleep up to 20 hours a day, conserving energy while hanging upside down in sheltered places. Giraffes, by contrast, may sleep for only a few hours, often in brief intervals. Yet both thrive in their habitats, showing that the amount of sleep is less important than the balance between rest and survival needs. Each species carries its own blueprint for sleep, shaped by millions of years of adaptation. The presence of REM sleep across many animals also shows its deep importance. Cats and dogs twitch their paws and whiskers during dreams, suggesting active REM phases. Birds show eye movements and brain patterns that mirror dreaming. Even reptiles may experience states that resemble REM. These similarities suggest that dreaming, or something like it, may be an ancient and widespread function, helping animals process information and adapt to their world's in thinking about sleep across species. We see both diversity and unity. The diversity lies in the forms. One hemisphere resting while the other remains awake. Short naps scattered through the day, or long blocks of deep rest at night. The unity lies in the function: renewal, balance, and survival. Sleep is a thread that runs through the fabric of life, connecting humans, animals, and even simpler creatures. Reflecting on this can be comforting. It reminds us that rest is not a weakness or luxury, but part of the shared experience of being alive. Just as birds return to their roosts, dolphins slow half their brains, and cats curl into quiet naps, we too follow the rhythm of sleep. To rest is to join a universal cycle, one that binds us to the natural world, and to every living being that breathes, moves, and pauses. Ultimately, sleep in different species teaches us that while the forms of rest may vary, the need does not. From the smallest insect to the largest whale, from infancy to old age, sleep is the gentle balance of life. It is the pause that makes activity possible, the stillness that sustains motion, the quiet that restores strength. In honoring our own rest, we participate in a rhythm as old and as vast as life itself. Dreams belong not only to the realm of biology, but also to the realm of culture. Every society, across time and place, has reflected on the mystery of dreams. Though the scientific study of sleep tells us about brain waves and memory, cultural perspectives remind us of the human need to interpret, to search for meaning, and to weave dreams into the story of life. Exploring these views does not require judgment of right or wrong. It is simply to notice how people everywhere have found significance in the silent visions of the night in ancient Mesopotamia. Dreams were often seen as messages from the divine. Clay tablets dating back thousands of years record interpretations, offering guidance on how to act depending on the dream's content. To dream of water, of animals, or of journeys was believed to carry meaning about health, destiny, or community. Priests and wise people were tasked with interpreting these symbols, blending spirituality with daily decisions. In this way, dreams became part of the fabric of early civilization, a bridge between the human and the divine. Egyptian traditions also held dreams as sacred. The Egyptians developed dream books, lists of symbols, and their suggested meanings. A dream of clear water might be considered a good sign. A dream of conflict might be seen as a warning. Beyond prediction, dreams were also understood as moments when the soul could travel, experiencing realities beyond the waking world. Sleep, in this view, was not only rest, but a passage into another realm, a place of exploration and communication. In ancient Greece, dreams occupied many roles. Philosophers debated their nature. Some, like Aristotle, suggested that dreams were natural extensions of thought, fragments of the day reappearing at night. Others saw them as omens or insights into the future. Temples dedicated to the god Asclepius, associated with healing, invited people to sleep within their walls, hoping for dreams that would reveal cures. Here, the boundary between medicine and spirituality blurred, showing how deeply dreams were woven into cultural practices. In many indigenous cultures, dreams are honored as guiding experiences. Among some Native American traditions, dreams are seen as teachings, offering wisdom from ancestors or the natural world. The well-known symbol of the dream catcher reflects this respect. It is said to filter dreams, allowing the good to pass through while catching the troubling ones. In these traditions, dreams are not isolated private events, but part of a community's spiritual and cultural life, helping individuals find direction and balance. In Eastern traditions, too, dreams carry meaning. In Chinese culture, dream interpretation has been practiced for centuries, blending philosophy, medicine, and symbolism. Dreams might reflect the balance of yin and yang, or the harmony of body and spirit. In India, spiritual texts describe dreams as windows into deeper levels of consciousness, sometimes reflecting karma or spiritual progress. Buddhist traditions often encourage gentle reflection on dreams, seeing them as reminders of impermanence and the fluid nature of reality. Medieval European cultures also gave dreams an important role. In a world shaped by religion, dreams were often seen as messages from God or temptations from other forces. Monks, scholars, and ordinary people sought meaning in dreams, interpreting them for guidance in daily life. At the same time, folk traditions offered their own dream lore, connecting symbols with everyday concerns of farming, family, and health. As cultures moved into more modern times, views of dreams shifted. With the rise of psychology in the 19th and 20th centuries, thinkers such as Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung offered new interpretations. Freud suggested that dreams revealed hidden desires, while Jung emphasized their symbolic and archetypal nature. These ideas influenced not only science, but also literature, art, and popular imagination. Even today, echoes of these perspectives remain, showing how cultural interpretations continue to evolve. It is important to remember, while interpretations differ, the presence of dreams is universal. Every culture, every generation, has found a way to reflect on them. Sometimes they are seen as divine messages, sometimes as reflections of inner thought, sometimes as random images, and sometimes as creative inspiration. What unites these views is the recognition that dreams matter. They are never dismissed entirely. They always invite curiosity and reflection. Even in contemporary life, where science explains much of the biology of dreaming, people still share their dreams with one another, seeking meaning or comfort. A strange dream may spark conversation, a recurring image may invite reflection, and a vivid dream may inspire art or decision-making. This shows that cultural views of dreams are not relics of the past, but living traditions, continuing in new forms. Across all these perspectives, dreams are seen as bridges. For some, they connect humans with the divine. For others, they connect conscious and unconscious parts of the mind. For communities, they connect individuals with tradition, ancestors, or spiritual forces. For modern thinkers, they connect emotion, memory, and creativity. The bridge takes different shapes, but it always serves the same purpose, linking what is known with what is hidden. Reflecting on cultural views of dreams can be soothing, because it reminds us that dreaming is not a solitary experience. Even though each dream feels personal, the act of dreaming is something we share with every human who has ever lived. Across centuries and continents, people have closed their eyes, drifted into sleep, and awakened with images to ponder. In this way, dreams are part of human continuity, a thread weaving together past, present, and future, Ultimately, cultural views of dreams reveal more about humanity than about dreams themselves. They show our desire for meaning, our openness to mystery, and our need to find guidance in the unseen. They remind us that dreaming is not only a biological process, but also a deeply human one, rich with interpretation and connection. To dream is to join a universal story, one told in countless ways across time, yet always pointing toward the same truth. That rest, imagination, and meaning are woven into the fabric of life. For most of human history, sleep was experienced but not fully understood. People noticed its rhythms, gave it cultural meaning, and told stories about dreams, but the inner workings remained hidden. In recent decades, however, modern science has turned its attention more deeply toward sleep, using new tools and careful observation to explore its mysteries. The picture that has emerged confirms what people have always sensed, that sleep is not optional, not wasted time, but a profound biological necessity that touches every part of life. One of the most important discoveries of modern sleep science is that sleep is structured, not uniform. Through technologies such as the electroencephalogram, which measures brain activity, researchers have seen how the brain moves through distinct stages. Non-REM sleep, with its light, deep, and slow wave phases, alternates with REM sleep, where dreaming is most vivid. This cycling pattern, repeating every 90 minutes or so, is now recognized as the architecture of the night. Each stage contributes uniquely to physical repair, emotional balance, and mental clarity. The understanding of this architecture has helped people appreciate sleep not as simple unconsciousness, but as a complex, active process. Science has also revealed the role of circadian rhythms, the inner clock that aligns us with the 24-hour cycle of Earth. The suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain serves as the master clock, responding to light and darkness to guide melatonin release, body temperature, and alertness. By studying these rhythms, researchers have shown how essential light is in shaping sleep. Morning sunlight anchors the body's schedule, while evening darkness allows melatonin to rise. This knowledge confirms what many people feel intuitively, that natural cycles of light and dark are deeply tied to rest. Another major insight from modern research is the connection between sleep and memory. Experiments have demonstrated that learning is enhanced when followed by sleep, and that memories are consolidated at night. Non-REM sleep stabilizes information, while REM integrates it, linking new knowledge with older experiences. This process not only preserves facts and skills, but also supports creativity and problem-solving. Modern science has given clear evidence of what people often notice in daily life, that a good night's rest can bring clarity, insight, and understanding. The emotional role of sleep has also been highlighted. Studies show that lack of sleep increases activity in the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, while reducing regulation from the prefrontal cortex, which supports calm reasoning. This imbalance makes emotions sharper and harder to manage. Conversely, healthy sleep restores balance, calming the emotional system. REM sleep, in particular, provides a space where strong feelings can be processed in dreams without overwhelming the mind. Modern research supports the idea that sleep is a nightly form of emotional therapy. Physical health is equally tied to rest. During sleep, growth hormone supports tissue repair, the immune system strengthens, and the cardiovascular system lowers its workload. Chronic sleep loss, by contrast, has been linked to higher risks of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and weakened immunity. Sleep is no longer viewed as separate from health, but as one of its foundations. Medical science now treats sleep as essential, alongside nutrition and physical activity, in maintaining well-being. Recent discoveries have also uncovered the role of sleep in brain maintenance. The glymphatic system, more active during deep sleep, helps clear waste products from the brain. This nightly cleaning supports long-term brain health and may protect against degenerative conditions. The finding is profound. Sleep is not only restorative, but protective. Keeping the brain resilient across the lifespan. Technology has also expanded our understanding of sleep's challenges. Sleep disorders such as insomnia, sleep apnea, and restless leg syndrome are now better recognized, with treatments developed to support healthier rest. Science has shown that these conditions are not simply personal struggles, but medical concerns that can affect health broadly. By identifying their causes and impacts, modern medicine helps people find relief and balance. Modern science also explores the relationship between sleep and society. Shift work, artificial light, and digital devices all affect the circadian rhythm. Studies reveal how irregular schedules can fragment sleep, reduce REM, and weaken restoration. At the same time, research highlights strategies to support balance, exposure to morning light, limiting bright screens in the evening, and maintaining regular schedules. These findings bring gentle guidance, showing how even in a busy world, small adjustments can nurture the body's natural rhythm. The study of sleep has grown to include not only laboratories, but also the lives of ordinary people. Wearable devices, home monitoring, and large-scale surveys have expanded our knowledge of sleep patterns worldwide. These tools confirm that while individuals vary, some being morning types, others evening types, the fundamental need for restorative sleep is shared by all. The diversity of patterns reflects flexibility, but the constancy of need reflects universality. Modern science continues to uncover connections between sleep and almost every aspect of health: metabolism, immune defense, mood, cognition, and even longevity. The more researchers learn, the more sleep is recognized as central. What once was dismissed as passive downtime is now understood as an active, dynamic state. Sleep science has transformed how medicine and psychology view rest, elevating it to its rightful place as a cornerstone of life. At the same time, science reminds us of something simple, that while sleep is complex in mechanism, it remains natural in experience. The body knows how to guide itself into rest. Hormones rise and fall, brain waves shift, memories replay, emotions soften, and tissues heal. These processes do not require conscious effort. Modern knowledge deepens appreciation, but does not change the basic truth. Sleep is a natural gift, present in every life. Reflecting on modern science of sleep can bring reassurance. It shows that sleep is not mysterious weakness, but structured strength. It highlights that even when sleep feels elusive, the body is always seeking balance, always guiding itself toward restoration. It reveals that rest is not wasted, but essential, shaping every aspect of health and well-being. Ultimately, the modern science of sleep brings together the language of biology and the wisdom of experience. It confirms what cultures, traditions, and personal reflection have long known, that sleep is healing, necessary, and profoundly human. To sleep is to participate in a process as ancient as life, now illuminated by science, but always felt in the heart. Sleep may be natural, yet for many people, it does not always arrive easily. Nights can sometimes feel restless, mornings can feel heavy, and rhythms can fall out of alignment with the needs of life. These experiences are not unusual. In fact, almost everyone, at some point, encounters challenges with sleep. To reflect on these challenges in a gentle way is to recognize them not as failures, but as part of being human. The body is resilient, and sleep, though sometimes delayed or disrupted, always seeks its way back. One of the most common difficulties is insomnia, the feeling of lying awake when rest is desired. Sometimes it appears for a short period, perhaps linked to stress, change, or excitement. Other times it lingers, making nights feel long and mornings tiring. Insomnia can involve trouble falling asleep, waking often during the night, or waking too early. It is important to remember that occasional insomnia is normal. Even in healthy sleepers, nights of restlessness appear. What matters is not perfection, but the overall rhythm across weeks and months. Stress is a frequent companion of sleep difficulty. The mind, filled with thoughts of tasks, responsibilities, or worries, finds it hard to let go. The body may feel tense, and the nervous system more alert than restful. In such times, gentle practices can help. Slow breathing, dimming lights, or simply allowing thoughts to pass without judgment. Sleep often returns once the mind feels safe again. It may be soothing to remember that sleepless nights do not erase the body's ability to heal. Even rest without full sleep provides some renewal, and the natural rhythm always rebalances in time. Another challenge is irregular schedules. Shift work, travel, or late-night activities can disrupt the circadian rhythm. The body's inner clock, guided by light and darkness, may become confused. Falling asleep in daylight or staying awake at night can feel unnatural, and rest may become shallow. Modern science shows that these disruptions affect many aspects of health, but it also shows that the body adapts when given consistent cues. Exposure to morning light, maintaining regular sleep and wake times when possible, and creating darkness for rest can gently guide the clock back toward alignment. Environmental factors also play a role. Light from devices, noise from surroundings, or uncomfortable temperatures can fragment sleep. Artificial light in particular suppresses melatonin, delaying the natural signal for rest. Noise can interrupt deeper stages, leaving the body less restored. These challenges remind us that sleep does not occur in isolation, but in context. Creating a space that feels safe, dark, and comfortable can support the body's natural rhythm. Small changes, dimmer lights, quieter surroundings, cooler air can have significant effects. Medical conditions can influence sleep as well. Sleep apnea, in which breathing is briefly interrupted, can fragment rest. Restless legs syndrome creates sensations that urge movement, disturbing stillness. Chronic pain, illness, or hormonal changes may also affect rest. These conditions are common and increasingly recognized by medicine. Treatments and supports are available, but even before professional care, it helps to remember that these challenges do not reflect weakness. They are part of the complexity of the body, and they can be addressed with compassion and patience. Emotional health and sleep are deeply connected. Anxiety can delay rest, depression can alter sleep patterns, and trauma can influence dreams. In these moments, sleep may feel fragile. Yet research shows that improving sleep often supports emotional well-being, and improving emotional health supports sleep. The two work together, each helping the other. This partnership means that gentle attention to rest is always valuable, whether through calming routines, professional support, or simply acknowledging the importance of self-care. Age also influences sleep challenges. Children may resist bedtime, adolescents often shift toward later schedules, and older adults may experience lighter, more fragmented rest. These changes are natural and reflect different needs of the body and brain. Understanding them can reduce frustration. For example, knowing that teenagers naturally produce melatonin later in the evening can help explain why they find it hard to sleep early. Recognizing that older adults spend less time in deep sleep can ease concerns about lighter rest. Awareness itself can be a form of comfort. Cultural and societal pressures can add to the difficulty. In fast-paced environments, people may feel encouraged to shorten sleep in favor of productivity. Over time, this leads to fatigue, irritability, and reduced health. Yet sleep is not a barrier to productivity, but its foundation. Without rest, focus and energy diminish. A shift in perspective, from seeing sleep as lost time to seeing it as essential time, can transform how we approach rest. It is also valuable to remember that sleep challenges are not solved by force. Trying hard to sleep often makes sleep more elusive. The effort itself creates tension. Instead, the approach that helps most is softness, creating conditions for rest, then allowing the body to follow its rhythm. Just as we cannot force the tide to rise, we cannot force sleep. But we can trust that it will come, as it always has, when the body feels ready. Naps provide another layer of support. While not a replacement for full nights, short naps can restore alertness and ease fatigue. Even resting quietly without full sleep can help. These small periods of renewal show that rest can be flexible, offering many ways to support balance. Modern life will always bring moments when sleep is less than perfect. Travel, stress, illness, or change can disrupt the rhythm. But the body holds deep wisdom. It seeks balance, compensating with deeper rest after deprivation, and gradually returning to its cycle. This adaptability is reassuring. It reminds us that even when challenges arise, sleep remains a faithful companion. Ultimately, common sleep challenges are not signs of failure, but reminders of humanity. Every person encounters them, in different forms and at different times. What matters is the long rhythm of life, the balance between activity and rest, the ongoing return to renewal. Sleep may be delayed, disrupted, or shortened, but it always seeks its way back. Trusting this process and approaching it with patience and kindness allows rest to unfold naturally. When we speak of rest, it is easy to think only of sleep. Yet rest is broader, a gentle practice that includes not only the hours when we close our eyes, but also the ways we soften, slow, and allow ourselves to pause in waking life. Sleep is the deepest form of this rest, but the attitude of rest, the willingness to let go, to move at a slower rhythm, can be present throughout the day. To understand rest as a practice is to recognize that it is not something that happens only to the body, but also something we can cultivate in the mind and heart. Modern life often celebrates speed. We rush from task to task, measure time in minutes and deadlines, and fill the hours with sound and activity. Rest can seem like a luxury, or even like lost time. But the body and the mind carry a different wisdom. They remind us, through fatigue and stress, that slowing down is not indulgence, but necessity. Just as breath has both an inhale and an exhale, life requires both activity and rest. Ignoring this truth leads to imbalance, but honoring it restores calm and strength. The practice of rest begins with softness. It is the choice to allow rather than to force, to release rather than to hold. At night, this softness becomes the surrender into sleep. During the day, it may be as simple as pausing for a deep breath, stepping outside for a moment of quiet, or closing the eyes briefly in stillness. These small pauses do not replace sleep, but they extend the rhythm of rest into waking hours, reminding the body that balance is always possible. Rest is also about safety. The body rests most deeply when it feels secure. This is why creating a restful environment matters. A darkened room, a comfortable bed, a space free of noise or intrusion. But safety is not only physical. Emotional safety, the sense that it is acceptable to pause, that it is permitted to let go, is equally important. In cultures that prize constant activity, giving oneself permission to rest can be an act of compassion. To say, It is enough for now is to create space for renewal. The gentle practice of rest also includes rhythms. The circadian cycle, guided by light and darkness, is one such rhythm. By aligning daily habits with natural cues, morning light, evening dimness, consistent sleep times, we honor the body's inner clock. But personal rhythms also matter. Each person has their own needs, their own chronotype, their own moments of energy and of quiet. Listening to these patterns, rather than resisting them, is a form of rest in itself. It is the practice of living in harmony with the self. Rest can also be understood as attention. When the mind is scattered, filled with competing thoughts, rest feels far away. Gentle attention, however, can restore calm. This does not mean forcing thoughts away, but simply noticing them, letting them pass, and returning to the rhythm of breath. Such practices, often called mindfulness, echo the same softness as sleep. They remind us that rest is not only about the absence of effort, but about the presence of ease. Throughout history, traditions have recognized the value of rest. Religious practices often include moments of quiet, reflection, or Sabbath, intentional pauses in the flow of activity. Cultural customs, such as midday rests or siestas, acknowledge the natural dip in energy and the benefit of renewal. These practices show that rest is not an invention of modern science, but a wisdom carried through generations. To rest is to join a human heritage as old as life itself. Rest is also relational. When we are well rested, we are more patient, more compassionate, more open to others. Fatigue, by contrast, narrows perspective and shortens temper. In this sense, rest is not only personal, but communal. By caring for our own balance, we also care for those around us. A rested mind brings kindness, and kindness strengthens community. The practice of rest includes flexibility. Some nights are long and restorative, others short or interrupted. Some days flow with ease, others feel heavy. Rest does not demand perfection. It invites us to return again and again to balance, trusting that the body and mind know how to find it. Even when sleep is difficult, even when challenges arise, the rhythm of rest remains within us, seeking its way back. Rest can also be creative. In quiet moments, when the mind is not filled with demands, insights often arise. Solutions to problems, new ideas, or fresh perspectives may emerge not in the midst of effort, but in pauses. This creativity is not forced, but allowed, a gift of stillness. In this way, rest supports not only health, but imagination, helping us meet life with openness and renewal. For many, practicing rest requires unlearning. The world often teaches that worth is measured in productivity, that stopping is weakness, that slowing down is failure. Rest gently counters these beliefs. It shows that strength is not endless motion, but balanced rhythm. It reminds us that growth comes not only from doing, but also from pausing. By embracing rest, we allow life to unfold more naturally, with less strain and more harmony. Sleep itself is the crown of this practice. Each night, when we release control and allow the body to guide us, we enter the deepest form of rest. The breath slows, the heartbeat softens, muscles release, and the mind flows through its cycles of renewal. To sleep is to trust, to surrender to the wisdom of the body. By practicing rest in small ways during the day, we prepare ourselves to receive the fuller rest of night with greater ease. Ultimately, the gentle practice of rest is an invitation. It is an invitation to live in rhythm rather than against it, to honor the cycles of activity and stillness, to care for the body and the mind, not only through effort, but through ease. It asks us to soften, to trust, and to allow. In doing so, we find that rest is not separate from life, but part of its essence. To practice rest is to recognize that being human is not about constant striving, but about balance. It is to remember that sleep, pause, and stillness are not interruptions, but foundations. Each moment of rest is a step toward wholeness, a quiet reminder that renewal is always available. By embracing this practice, we join the ancient rhythm of life itself, carried gently on the tide of breath, night after night, day after day. Thank you for spending this time with the sleepy brain dose. As the rhythm of the night surrounds you, it is enough simply to let go. May the softness of these reflections stay with you, supporting peace, safety, and gentle renewal. For now, there is nothing more to do. Just breathe and rest.